Hello, Abigail here with another wax reading. This one is what is the next chapter of your life bringing you? We are going to do an energy check-in to make sure that this reading is for you. I usually go for about a 60-40% resonation. So like 60%, if it resonates, then this reading is for you. Because it is a general reading, but we want to affirm that this is the right reading for you. So who are the folks who are supposed to find this reading? Is this message for them? What is this message and how do they identify theirs? Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles. Yep. So this message is for my hardworking folks. This message is for people who have been putting in the effort, who have been putting in the time. Knight of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Nine of Wands. This message about the next chapter is for people who've been working. You've been investing with the Four of Pentacles. You have been figuring out and deciding where to put your resources and your talents and your skills. It has not been an easy journey, but you are getting close to a breakthrough and you can feel the breakthrough, but it doesn't mean that you're not also exhausted. So if you are someone who is working on something, who's been investing in something long term, whether it is a talent or a skill or a business, this reading is for you. Three of Cups. Yeah, this is also for folks who are looking to find their community, to find the people they resonate with, and also people who are like, even though I've been investing and pouring into something, there's still so many options of things you could do, and you sense that there's so much more that you can attain, but you kind of hit a wall. And we're gonna pull one more, but I feel like we've kind of figured out who who this group is. You are hardworking, you are pushing towards your goals, you might feel a bit stuck or very stuck, and you sense that there is more for you out there. You're just not sure how to get there, and you're definitely feeling like there's a bit of a lack of support when it comes to your work. It feels like maybe your family or your friends or other people, like if you're on, I'll talk about this in a second, like if you're online and you post things, no one's liking it. If you, basically strangers are the ones who are showing up for you right now. We do have the Two of Cups, so that's about to change, but I don't think it's necessarily with current folks. I think you're about to find new people and new connections. I also do think that there is a large portion of you who are looking for love, and looking for someone to build something with long term. I know I said one more, but we'll do it. Yeah, well, there we go. The lovers. Lovers and the Two of Cups. So yeah, there's a portion of you who are looking for your long term partner, looking for someone who resonates with you, who, if you identify with the term soulmate or twin flame, I hold those terms loosely, but these are people who you are looking for your person that gets you, that supports you, that is in your corner, that has your back, that is compatible emotionally, mentally, intimately, spicily. So yeah, this group is for people who have been putting in the effort in their lives, whether it be in work or in love or in career. So if that's you, stick around. I am going to put these cards to the side and I will get the water set up for your wax reading. And I will see you all in a minute. Alrighty, so we are back. I have this beautiful pale pink candle. We have the water, we have the bowl. I'm going to get this lit and then we will get going with your wax reading to see what the next chapter is bringing in for you when it comes to your life and your desires and your dreams. This is in a strong, healthy flame, so it definitely feels like you are ready for this change. You have been putting in the effort. You have been planting seeds. I'm getting the sense that some of you have seen progress, but with how slow the wax is dripping, it has definitely been slow and like hard won. Ooh, this is a very active flame. We love to see it. So yeah, this has not been an easy road for you. You also am hearing that you have really high standards, and the spirit just wants to affirm that you're not missing out because of those high standards. And so don't lower them. Obviously, a more specific request takes longer to get, but in the end, it's really going to pay off. All right, so the wax has kind of formed something here. We have a little dog. There is a sense of companionship and camaraderie. I think also some of you might be getting a pet soon or desire to get a pet. And that attainment is coming in the next chapter of your life. A lovely little companion. Doesn't have to be a dog, but something small, something house sized. Small is relative, so if you want a big dog, of course it can be a big dog, or if you want a cat or a hamster. But there's an element of companionship coming in the form of a non-human soul, or maybe a human soul in an animal body, but they do not appear as a human. Yeah, we also have like a very rigid face. It feels like there are people in this group who have had experiences either in childhood or even in adulthood with bosses, with people who are really rigid and aggressive and maybe even a bit violent. A male figure who is controlling, and there's something about you being able to release that and let that go in the next chapter. We also have a little anatomical heart here, which I love. This next chapter is about continuing to align yourself with your desires, and not just the ones that are pretty and acceptable, your deepest desires, the things that other people don't get to see and experience. You are going to get to have them in real time in this next chapter that you're stepping into. Let's see. There's another little creature in here. I'm also wondering if one of the signs you're going to see when your next chapter starts is going to be like small animals like squirrels or chipmunks or birds. Just a lot of little creatures kind of crossing your path, I'm hearing. We also have a little baby sheep here. This is a long desired dream. It doesn't have to be literal children necessarily, although I sense that some of you do want kids. But in your next chapter, you are going to have access to an ability. Let me get my words back together. You're going to have the resources to nurture and care for what you want in whatever form it appears, whether that is a child or it's a dream project or it's a vacation you've been wanting to take. There's something precious and near and dear to you. And I'm saying that the vacation is not just a vacation, it's going to be to a very special location that you have been dreaming of. Either it has family significance or personal emotional significance to you, this location. But in your next chapter, you are getting the resources to take this trip to visit a place that is precious to you, that means a lot, whether that's a place you spent your childhood or something you want to share with someone else. I'm also getting that you are going to have someone to share it with. So if you are single in the next chapter, I'm hearing that you're kind of meeting them at, I'm hearing meeting them at the crossroads. So if you are single and looking for someone, or if you're not and you're just single, there will be an opportunity to meet someone right as this new chapter begins, right as you step across the threshold of this new chapter. There's an opportunity to meet someone and to take them with you. Yeah, we have little balloons here, 3 balloons. You know, you're going to have a lot to celebrate once you get through what you're currently going through. And you're going to be able to not only celebrate, but also celebrate with people who care about you, with people who want to celebrate you. You know, with these 3 balloons, it's very much giving 3 of Cups energy, which was a part of the cards that we pulled um, to see if this reading is for you. Also, like a little gnome here. It feels like some of you would benefit from working with kind of the smaller, lesser. I don't want to say lesser, but like more like garden spirits and like spirits of trees and spirits of place, like not like big deities or these massive entities. But for some of you, if you are a witch, I think working with things like gnomes or pixies, although be careful with pixies, they can be very tricksy. With gnomes or pixies, fae also is coming up, but you have to be really careful with fae, especially if you don't have fae blood. So just do your research. If this is something that appeals to you, this is for a very specific group of people. So if it doesn't apply, let it go. We also have ginkgo leaves in here, and it's giving abundance. It's giving, I'm seeing them in like their fall colors, which is a glorious gold. So there's abundance and richness and good luck headed your way. And also with the ginkgo leaf, it's speaking to ancestry and ancestors. And so there's also um, a message here from your ancestors about this next chapter, saying it's going to happen. It is divinely guided. We have been manifesting this for you. We also have a caterpillar. This is still going to be a process. It's not going to be quick. Also, like, I'm hearing you're not going to just turn the page. So it's not going to be like one day everything, excuse me, one day everything is bad and gloomy and gross, and the next day everything is working out. It's very much, there's a process to you heading into this next chapter, to you kind of welcoming in this goodness. It's not going to happen in one moment. In fact, I'm hearing that you're not going to just wake up one day and everything's different, but you are going to wake up one day over a period of time and suddenly realize that things have slowly shifted and changed. We have this vase here that's pouring out something. There's also a need to release some stuff as we head into this next chapter. Some old dreams and desires need to be let go and allowed to, go their own way, and to open up space for new dreams and new desires that are more aligned with you. It feels like you've outgrown some stuff, and that's a good thing, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to go through the process of release. And so, you know, letting go anything that no longer aligns will come with a little bit of like, it's sad it didn't work out, or, it's kind of like a goodbye to an old friend that you've hung on to for a while. But new things are going to come in, but you do have to release what is no longer working for you. We also have a mouse here. Mice are often a sign of lack or a sign of deception because they're associated with stealing. It's also a sign of need. And so I'm sensing at this point, a lot of you are like, Abigail, I cannot take long because I don't have the resources or the stamina. And I hear you. I definitely hear you, and I'm similarly inclined. There's also this person in a fetal position, so spirit is definitely recognizing that this is a hard place to be in. But just because it takes time, I'm hearing, doesn't mean that you're not going to have resources when you need them. It just means you're not going to go from nothing to everything overnight. It just means you're going to build over time. And so it's not all or nothing is what they're saying. Okay. Since we are forming, and also see how like intense this flame is. I always find when the energy is this high that big things are coming, that this message is going to happen quickly. So like, no, it's not happening overnight, but it's also not taking forever, is what I'm hearing. It's just incremental. We have clouds. Clouds can mean misfortune and overcast things, but clouds can also be protection from the sun. And so there's something happening currently in your life that feels like a misfortune, that feels like something bad, that's actually protecting you from something you can't see. Kind of like the phrase, rejection is protection. That's what's coming through. We also have a little figure with wings here, like a little cherub. You are being protected by angels. You are being guided and cared for. There's also a thing about divine timing. I know everyone hates divine timing because it's like whatever the universe wants to. But there is a thing, I think what is missed often with divine timing is that it's about everything lining up for you to get the best possible outcome. And so that does take time. And so instead of viewing it as like this amorphous thing, which it kind of is, I'm not arguing with you on that, but it is us having to wait for something better. And if you have been manifesting really specific stuff and you have standards, which you should have, which was something we talked about at the beginning of this reading, then part of the reason the timing is divine is because you have standards and you're not accepting anything less. We have a shoe here. I think for some of you, foot washes, spiritual foot baths might be a really good thing to help you ground. You literally just like make up a blend of herbs, boil it like a tea. I put mine in a reusable cotton bag, and then once it's cooled enough, you either soak your feet in it or pour it over your feet, whichever one floats your boat and works best for you. But it's a good way to cleanse and ground. You can also do the same for your head with a head wash, and we do kind of have a head forming here, so I think it's interesting. So take care of the spiritual hygiene of your head and feet as you move forward. There's also a horse head here. This is a timeless reading, but currently I am reading in the year of the horse, which will not end until I think maybe I know the Chinese New Year changes based on like the lunar cycle, but I think February or March next year. So this next chapter is happening within a year's time, whether you're watching this in the year of the horse or not. But it is a period of a year. So if you are in a different zodiacal year, Chinese zodiac year, then it will be before the end of that zodiac year. Um, just so you know. We also have like a donkey here. There is an element of, spirit is still asking you for resilience. Also, donkeys are used to protect sheep because they're actually very protective. And so you are also being protected and you are also protecting others. Something about your job or your personality or your own personal magic is very protective, and spirit wants you to recognize your magic and your power. We also have this really voluptuous mermaid here. I'm loving this energy of like curves and um, richness. Abundance is coming, spiritual abundance, physical abundance. You are going to have more than enough in this next chapter. Um, but it is about believing in the impossible. It is about being a bit delusional. It is about engaging in fantasy. It doesn't mean I'm telling you to like make rash choices based on something that's not real yet. But you do have to believe that things can get better. You do have to believe that you deserve more. And you do have to stick to your desires, even if the longer you wait, the more impossible it may feel. And you might be tempted to lower your standards. Do not lower them, is a really big message here. We have a little sheep, a little lamb, a little baby. This is also the universe telling you that you don't really have to do anything different. You just have to exist and be. You are a little lamb. Obviously, you've already put the work in and you should continue that work, but you're not being asked to do anything more or extra because you deserve, and this lamb is on their knees, so you deserve rest. You deserve to be able to be innocent. I get the feeling that this group um, is naturally a very open, empathetic group, but you have had to learn through hard lessons to shut yourself off. And in this next chapter, there is an ability through community, through friendship, to return to some of that naivete, to some of that authenticity, because you are now surrounded and protected by people who really value who you are. Okay. Something has been forming here for a minute. I'm not sure what it is. So I'm also getting like a tree or a bush. Your next chapter is also going to be a culmination of an ancestral dream or desire. You are going to get to live out your ancestors' wildest dreams, your ancestors' desires, your ancestors' goals that they were pursuing. Something that they have been desired is going to be fulfilled through you. And doesn't necessarily have to be physical or material, although I am definitely sensing that for some of you it is, but it can also be like emotional. It can be like you being like the first person in your family to like have a healthy emotional system and go to therapy, or the first person to be in a relationship with someone where you're truly happy and don't have to sacrifice yourself. Or this can be you being the first person to get a degree, or you being the first person to own your own business in your family. So there's an element in this next chapter of you um, doing some really magical and beautiful things for your ancestral line, for your ancestral healing. And of course, they're all on board for this and very excited. But once again, it is going to be very specific and unique to you, which is why it's taking this much time. I'm also hearing that some of you aren't quite fully on board with like the overall family dream. And I think there is an element of you meeting in the middle. You don't have to sacrifice and like give up your personal desires for your ancestry. And, they also can feed into this dream and have their voices heard as well. So there's also a kind of a needing to get together with your ancestry and your family line spiritually and discuss what is the goal and what you're planning on doing together. I kind of know what mine is. As I'm sitting here, my own guides are like, and guess what yours is? Mine are very sassy. Um, so yeah, it's a really beautiful, beautiful kind of group project that you and your ancestors are doing together in this next chapter. And part of the reason I'm hearing that you've had a lot of stops and starts and a lot of shifts and changes is because you've been guided by the universe to this point, not just for this ancestral thing, but for the relationships and connections that are coming your way as well. You have been in places where you are not fully met, where you're not fully seen, and the universe has been working because you've been manifesting different things to get you there. And that's kind of where we are in the process, is the getting there. Forming here. Okay. It's like a basket. And it has flowers in it. It's reminding me of some of the imagery from the Lenormand. But you are about to experience the spring of your lifetime. Maybe a literal spring, but I'm thinking this is just a rebirth, a renewal. So it can happen at any time, but you are about to have bounty and abundance. You're about to have enough to share with others. I also think some of you are just fountains of knowledge and an overflowing basket of either spiritual or physical or intellectual knowledge. And you need to share and spread that within your community and recognize that as a form of abundance. You have a lot to give, and not all of it is money, and not all of it is material. A lot of it is the way you think, the way you love, the way you connect to others. That is also a gift. Oh, flame. Energy is so vibrant. Um, Let us both sit here. I'm feeling like we need to bring our energy down just a tinge. We have an anatomical heart here with flame coming out of it. So we have a sacred heart. A lot of the people in this reading also have a sacred destiny. You also have a fire and a passion, whether you've discovered it yet or not, that you are meant to pursue, that you are meant to give devotion to, whether this is a spiritual practice or a goal or a dream. But these are things that will last your whole lifetime. It's not just something you're going to attain, it's something you're going to pursue endlessly. And in this next chapter, I think that goal and that desire are about to become more and more clear to you. And you're going to see like some results starting to happen from this thing or this energy that you've been pursuing since you were born. I think for some of you, you don't really know fully what it is yet, but in this next chapter, you are going to not know everything, but definitely get insight into what this thing is. We also have a bird here with a very long tail. It's a mockingbird, actually, and mockingbirds have a beautiful voice and are very skilled at mimicry and at producing the songs of other birds. Um, they can be seen as a bit of a predator. If I remember correctly, they are known for taking nests. But there is a passion and a beauty in their skill set. This is also a message that you can learn from watching other people. We don't want to be like imitating or directly ripping off, but you can definitely take something that someone else has done and improve on it or teach yourself something from it. Of course, if you are using a lot of someone else's material, please give them credit. But there is like an ability here for you to see an idea and improve upon it and multiply it and to do more than one thing at once. Um, it also feels as like you're about to get a new set of interests or a new, for my autistic baddies, hyperfixation, um, that is really going to shift and change your life. What is this here? So yeah, we have a little figure sitting here with their arms folded. Yeah, so some of you are really stubborn, like really, really stubborn. And you remember when I said there's some stuff to let go? A part of the reason this chapter hasn't started for some of you is because you are very stubborn and you're still pursuing something that isn't really meant for you. Some of you are holding on to an old relationship. Some of you are holding on to an old dream. I don't necessarily think that all of these things have to pass away completely, but you definitely need to rework them. In the very least, you need to renew them in some way or reset them. We also have a woman with beautiful hair. Um, there's someone in your matrilineal line in the matriarchy of your family that's really important to you that is speaking through this reading. Um, they are a beautiful headdress is forming. Um, so whoever she is, she says, I don't need you to talk for me, which I respect. My child will know who I am and what I am saying. So if this is for you, listen to what this being is saying to you with her beautiful hair and her lovely headdress. Because she doesn't want to use me to say it. She wants you to listen to your own intuition. Release that energy. We have a little flower forming here, kind of going back to the spring of your life. You know, something is going to bloom. There's very rarely like an exact line where everything changes, like we were discussing earlier. So there is something that's going to bloom right around the time you enter this new chapter that you've been working on. And that blooming is a signal that you're moving into this new chapter. And also remember that flowers die pretty quickly. So it is something that is going to blossom and going to bring you great joy and then shift and change into something different. And I think the only like little message and like support I can give you here is just allow it to be what it is. You're going to get to see it blossom. You're going to get it to be the thing. For some of you, this may be a class that you're teaching or a project you've been working on. But you're going to complete it. You are going to do it. It is going to be a success. And then you are going to need to release it and move on to other things. We also have a little misshapen heart here. You know, love is definitely on the cards for some of you, whether it is renewing a connection with a current partner or if it is finding a new partner. But there is love in this next chapter. There is the love of children, there is the love of parents, there is the love of lovers and romantic partners. um, you are going to be finding more love, and if you are feeling at a with kind of in a deficit of love, I do think this new chapter is going to bring a big turnover in your relationships. And I think that turnover is going to happen actually right before this chapter switches. So if you're starting to lose people, or you're starting to recognize that something is not working for you and that it either has to change or go, this is a sign that that chapter is closer than you think. What do we have here? Yeah, we have a kite with a tail. In this new chapter, you are going to be soaring to new heights. You are going to be tethered, yes, to something, but you are also going to fly to places you could never imagine. And there's an element of carefree energy where like you're soaring, but there's not really a goal. You're just enjoying floating in the energy. It also feels like because you're able to do this, or maybe the inverse, you're able to do this because other things in your life are going better. There is a sense of safety and security coming in that you haven't felt before. So you weren't free to enjoy and kind of feel this feeling. And so in the next chapter, you get to have fun, you get to play, you get to participate, you get to enjoy the work you've been doing and the things that you've accomplished, especially in the chapter before. Hmm. We have a dragon head here. There's also stuff about past life things. You are going to be finishing up a cycle, which is why there is a new chapter. You're going to be ending some karmic pattern. If you are continuing to participate in this moment in something that you're like, well, this is real familiar, it's time to shift that. It's time to move that energy. It's time to do things differently. It's time to opt out of old past relationship patterns that are appealing because they are familiar, but not because they're healthy. So letting go and refusing to participate in patterns that trigger you, that rile you up, that might feel exciting because they do feel high stakes, but they're not good for you and they're really bad for your nervous system. Flame, so bright, so beautiful. So we have a little hippo here. You know, hippos are kind of deceptive. They look a bit slow and they look very docile, but they in fact have pretty intense energy. And so I think some of you are kind of masking some of your passion and intensity. And I think a lot of the people around you have misjudged you and think that you're less capable than you are, or at least less able to protect yourself. But the truth is, this group is very capable of standing their ground. And I think it might be time to take the mask off in this next chapter of not hiding your true passion, your true fire, your true capabilities in order to either protect yourself so that people don't come for you or to keep other people comfortable. You need to allow other people to experience discomfort. I sense a lot of you in this reading. Part of the reason you are probably a bit exhausted is because you're doing too much work for others. You are taking too much responsibility for the reactions of other people, and you need to let them parent themselves. We have an otter here, which I love. Otters are about companionship and play and care. They're also about faithfulness. They are good, very good parents. They hold hands with the ones that they love when they sleep. They share their little shells with each other that they will crack on little rocks on their tummies. You know, in this next chapter, you are going to find someone to hold hands with as you fall asleep, or you are going to renew a connection that was a bit stagnant. And I would encourage you to start with doing cute little physical things together. Um, but for my people who are still looking for someone, you are going to find someone who is that level of safe, who is very cute and fun. Doesn't mean they aren't hot and intimidating sometimes, but the way that this person is with you is very tender and gentle, and they're also very family oriented. You don't necessarily need to want children to have a family, but they definitely want a cozy existence with you. Hmm. It's the end. So we have a bird here with their wings flapping behind it. It looks like they're either landing or catching something. In this next chapter, what is going to trigger it is you finally going after what you want without shame, going after what you want, believing that the risk is worth it. I don't think it's as risky as you think it is, but it definitely feels risky, which is still very valid. And so in this next chapter, in order to trigger it, you do have to be brave. You do have to make that kind of dive to snag that thing that you want. And I think once you get a hold of it, you're gonna be like, oh, it wasn't as desperate as I thought, but it definitely felt that way. Makes it valid. Yeah. All right. I feel like we're coming to the end. I'm gonna see if the wax has anything else to say before I blow it out. But I'm definitely feeling the energy kind of winding down. Um, I do think a lot of this next chapter is not necessarily attached to specific timing. It is attached to specific actions, and when you are ready for things, when you have released what you need to release, when you are prepared to step into something bravely and let go what has been in the past. We have a giraffe here. Yeah, you need to reach for something that feels out of reach, but you actually have a much longer neck than you think. And this reaching out, this going to see something is going to push you over into this next phase. So, you know, definitely go for and pursue your dreams and desires. Reach your neck out and grab that thing that feels almost out of reach, but really isn't. But yeah, I think we're done. Feeling that we are done. Um, but yeah, this next chapter is coming. It is happening. There are a few things left to be done before it is here. But I feel like it's going to be a huge transformation for you that you're just going to wake up one day and be like, oh, it happened while I was focusing on other things, while I was, living my life. There's also a hare here leaping. It is definitely coming in much quicker than you or I think, but it is going to come with kind of the quickness and the caution of a hare, of a rabbit. Although technically rabbits and hares aren't the same thing. So let me get that straight. Let's see if there's anything else left in this wax for you. I do love how this pink is so soft and gentle. There's a feeling of nurture when I hold this wax in my hand, a feeling of being cared for, um, a sense that things are going to be all right, even though they don't feel all right in this moment for many of you. So the smidge hot. So I'm gonna one more time. Yeah, there's a bit of a face here. It feels like fear. And this is not to minimize your fears, but it is going to be okay. Your next stage is going to be much more fulfilling than this one. It feels like a lot of you where this current phase is a really big, been a really big pressure cooker for you with shifting your dreams and desires and moving your energy and letting things go. And in this next phase, it feels like you are going to be met. And I think a beautiful thing to end this is there's like a little dog here again. Whether that's a spirit guide or a literal pet that you have or one that is coming in, you are loved and cared for and needed. So treat yourself as such. Anyways, my dears, that is my reading for you. I hope that it was enlightening and encouraging and uplifting. If you have any comments or questions, please pop them below. You can also ask for a topic you would like me to cover in either my wax readings or in my tarot readings. But yeah, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel to grow. And I am genuinely excited for your next chapter, and I wish you all of the blessings